that's good to know. Okay, حلو. طيب. Okay, there's 4 components. أولاً the UI, the user interface. And for the UI, just do what CDO does. الأب هذيك اسمها CDO. فطلع CDO وشوف كيف CDO تشتغل. And if you copy piece by piece, it's fine. Right? Obviously not the exact same thing. And you will have to, and I don't expect a lot of artistic creativity. As long as it's functional, click on the button, connect the phone, blah, blah. Even if it's a very basic level, that's fine. As long as you learn the basics of UI, how UI is made on iOS, right? That's the first part. Second part, P2P networking. This is the hardest part. واللي بدي أعملها هاي بدي يكون أبو ضايع عشان and think about it. P2P, basically, I want you to create a networking protocol where you can have several phones that can connect to a network service and maintain a minimum amount of throughput, which is the amount necessary by the music. To play music uninterrupted, what's the minimum throughput necessary? طبعا نحكي عن different formats, MP3, AAC, blah blah. There is a minimum standard. Obviously, it has to be compressed. The music has to be compressed. And if you get a lossless song, there's no way you can broadcast. It's got to be compressed either MP3 or AAC or whatever formats are out there. So establish that number and then create this network where that minimum threshold is never passed. It's never again. You never go below it. But I think this is the hardest part of it. Okay. The third part is audio playback. So, basically establish a reliable way to play audio in iOS from one device to another. So, some things you might take into account is مثلا packet loss concealment. يعني مثلا هلا networking guys know there's reliable and unreliable. TCP as reliable and UDP as unreliable, right? But obviously, based on my experience or what I've learned and know, to make this happen, you will need UDP because TCP is way too slow for a real-time application. And when you talk about UDP, it's an unreliable protocol. So you guys will lose packets, right? But the music player will have to take that into account. The music player will have to be able to, there's an algorithm, many algorithms that address this problem, which is called packet loss concealment. So on Skype, when you talk to someone in the States, some packets are lost. So how do you deal with that? Is it like, do you just input silence in place of packets? Do you implement an algorithm that estimates what that lost packet sounds like? I'll leave that up to you. But the person working on this will have to address these issues. The fourth component, this one's also difficult, sync, right? And this has to do with like distributed systems, real-time systems. I'm on one phone, and I'm going to play the song. I want to make sure this guy either plays the song at the exact same time as this guy playing the song, or when this phone has already started playing the song. When this guy joins this phone like a minute later, they'll have to play the music at the exact same time in sync. But this is not a trivial issue because when I did this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just send a UDP packet, which is very fast. So I played the song, and before I played, I send the UDP packet to the other phone and say, yo, you start playing too. But sometimes this UDP packet, as fast as it may be, sometimes it's delayed by a millisecond. And that millisecond will show. And this is a real-time application, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. And this application, this application will really test your software development skills. And I intentionally made it that way because I want you guys to feel challenged. I want you guys to reach points where you're like, I need help. Because if you guys are self-sufficient, you have no motivation to go to Stack Overflow and ask people. I want you guys to ask people. Right? For real-time applications, there is very little tolerance for any kind of delay. If you have threads and you're locking the thread, a lock could be too expensive. Right? If you're allocating memory, destroying memory, these are all limitations that could be choke points for your application. And I learned a lot from this project. I ran this project for 3 months, and now that I'm working on another project, it really disciplined my skills. It really made me, now to me, threading and resource memory management, blah, blah, is much simpler than before because it really made me think about all these little details. Even if you go into becoming a web developer, I remember when I worked at Amazon, I had an engineer who worked for 20 years at Microsoft. And he was like me, a web developer. My initial experience was just web developer. You can call it